This is my Software Engineering 3 first deliverable. For this assignment I designed a web application for buying and selling tickets to concerts and other events. In this use case we can see that the actor is able to log in or sign up if they haven't already got an account. They can browse available tickets, buy tickets if they're logged in, sell tickets if they're logged in and have already purchased a ticket that they can then sell back. They can rate an event if they're logged in, if they've purchased a ticket to the event, and if the date of the event is already passed. They can comment on an event under the same rules. They can add an artist or event to their favorites if they're logged in. In the class diagram, I have a ticket class which deals with creating individual tickets, an event class for creating events and keeping track of the number of tickets available, a database class for adding and retrieving data from the database, a user class to allow users to log in and for creating new users and editing users, a main class which has all of the methods that the user will be able to use, including logging in, browsing tickets, adding artists or events to favorites, and a controller class for all of the background stuff that the user will not be able to access directly. The event class can have one or many tickets, one controller, and one database. The ticket class can have just one event, as each ticket is related to only one event, and one database. The user is related to one main class and one database. The database has zero or many tickets, zero or many events, and one controller and zero or many users. The main class has zero or many users and just one controller, and the controller has one main class, one database, and zero or many events. In the login sequence diagram, the user would choose to log in from the main class, which would call login in the user class, sending the username and password over to the database. The database would then call getUser, sending in the values that the user had entered, to check them against values in the database. If the values match up, it returns a boolean with a value of true, which would allow the user to log in, and if the boolean returns false, an error message would be sent back to say invalid credentials. In the sell ticket sequence diagram, the user would choose to sell a ticket from the main class, and they would enter their ticket ID for the ticket they had already purchased that they wish to sell back. This would call void ticket, sending the ticket ID again from the controller to the database, which would make it so that the ticket could no longer be used. The ticket ID could no longer be used. And then the database would call void ticket to the event to update the number of tickets available for the show. In the buy ticket sequence diagram, the user would call buy tickets from the main class, which would call create ticket from the controller to the event. If the number of tickets available is greater than 0, then a ticket would be created. The tickets class would call add ticket with the event name, price, section, and date to the database. This information would be entered into the database to create the new ticket, and then the database would call buy ticket on itself to show that this ticket had already been purchased. If the number of tickets is not greater than 0, there are no tickets available, and an error message saying such is sent back to the user.